Hello, YouTube. Remember this video? Hi, my name's Ian. I spent my Wednesday afternoon walking around the city trying to get strangers to convince me to read their favorite book. I almost killed a man. That's right, today I finally get around to reading those recommendations. It's been months, so we're gonna jump into that. But before we do that, I have to give a little shout out to today's sponsor. You ever hear anything about a little thing called NordVPN? That's right, NordVPN is the sponsor of today's wonderful video, and boy, let me tell you something. NordVPN, striving to make the internet a better place, y'all. Let me tell you the facts. They keep your data safe online because there's some freaks out there that want to steal it. The things that I love most about NordVPN is one, it is the fastest VPN on the planet. Normally there's things that, you know, when I'm tracking on the internet or I'm doing my YouTube thing, it takes hours. But with NordVPN, it literally takes seconds, man. It cuts the time that it usually takes me to do crap on the internet in half. NordVPN makes traveling out of any country safer because of their incredible threat protection, especially when it comes to the dark web. NordVPN can keep your data safe literally anywhere in the world with its military-grade surveillance and protection. Don't let people mess with you online. Use my exclusive NordVPN deal for 4 extra months free. Let me clarify, that's for the 2-year plan only. Again, that is for the 2-year plan only. No risk at nordvpn.com/Ian Gubeli. Thank you again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Let's get to it. Well, hi. I thought we could get cracking on the first book. Is it moving? There was a lot of really good suggestions from that video. Really hard to pick. Do I do a lot of the nonfiction stuff? Do I do only fiction stuff? I kind of wanted to do a mixture. The one that caught my interest the most and the person that convinced me the most was that sweet young woman who recommended Murikami. You gotta convince me to read your favorite book?
What kind of books do you like to read?
Oh man, I'm into everything. Fiction, nonfiction, fantasy, science fiction, horror, anything.
My favorite book is actually kind of sad.
Okay.
But it's a fiction.
Okay.
You ever heard it? You've heard it. Everybody's heard of Murikami.
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have.
Yes, I have.
My favorite of his was actually kind of short, and it doesn't seem like I know a lot of people that read it, but it was called The Colorless Tsukuru Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage.
That's the whole title?
That is the whole title.
Wow.
So I always lose that last half. For me, I suck at grieving. Okay. I have no idea how to do it. So I read this book about a guy who's living this great life with his group of friends, and everybody has their own personalities, and he feels kind of empty.
Yeah.
And he moves off to go to college, and his friends stay back in their hometown. And then he just one day comes back home, and all of his friends just decided, don't talk to me anymore.
Oh, wow.
Right, so then the whole book is this tiny mystery of why don't his friends want to talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
You have to walk with him through grieving the loss of all of his friends.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually finding out why they decided they couldn't be friends with him anymore and how he resolves that.
Wow.
Yes, that really is all it is, but it made me cry too many times because I don't know how, like I said, I do not know how to grieve. And the way that Murakami writes is he leaves it open-ended. So I feel like books like that also give you this idea of, are you an optimist or a pessimist?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think happens beyond that?
Leaves
point?
it up to the reader.
And yes, you can pick if he actually is, if it is a happy ending, if he does get everything, or if it just kind of stops there.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I think you've convinced me.
All right.
So we're gonna start the colorless tsukuru tazaki. I know I butchered it. We're gonna start this, and I am so excited. Let's begin. This is a short book. If I look like I'm sweating, it's because I am. So let's. Blessed AC. What an opening line. From July of his sophomore year in college until the following January, all tsukuru tazaki could think about was dying. Hello, it's been a little bit, a few hours since I last updated you on the colorless tsukuru tazaki. I will never ever get used to saying that name. That is not that's hard. Tsukuru, Tsuki, Tsuku, Big T. I'm about to start chapter 7 on page 97. This book reads insanely fast. The words on the page aren't too big. His writing style is very simple. Then again, this is a translation from the original Japanese, but it's also coming across that the original Japanese is also very simple, straight to the point. There's an eloquence to the prose, but there's no over-dramatized language to make it excessively flowery. So I think this is accessible to anybody. I mean, it's incredibly readable, as you can see. I bought this today. The story's very fascinating. We meet a guy named Big T. That's what we're gonna call him. Big T, he forms this friend group in high school, and they're this kind of quintet going around doing everything, sharing everything, experiencing everything together. They go off to college, and when he comes home for a visit, they have shut him out of their lives, and he has no idea why. He asks around politely to their families, and he kind of just gets shut out. He's given no explanation why this is. 14 years later, he shares how harrowing of an experience that was, how traumatic that was, losing the most important people in his life. This woman that he's dating kind of gets mad for him, convinces him that he needs to look into it after all these years. He needs to go back, he needs to look up these people, and he needs to confront them and see exactly what he did to make this happen. The reason it's called the colorless Big T is because the friend group that he formed in high school, everybody in the friend group had a color in their last name, except Big T. Mr. Red, Mr. Blue, Miss White, and Miss Black. Akamatsu, which means red pine. I'm gonna butcher this. Aomi, which means blue sea. Shirane, butchered it so bad. Shirane is what I want to say. White root. Kurono, which means black field. And then there's Tazaki. He's the colorless Big T. We're getting the past as if he's telling it to her. And, you know, it's nothing new in terms of tropes, but at the same time, he's doing it differently than most people would. I'm enjoying it so far. This was a good recommendation. So thank you, strange, kind woman. I might be reading more into him this year. Back to it, I guess. I still can't pronounce this guy's name. Tsukuru, Tazaki, the colorless man. I'm on page 152. She reads fast, okay? It is a very fast-paced book. He's delving into the past, he's going back, and he's trying to contact the people that ghosted him. And it's so sad. Because of that experience, his whole life, he's felt that he's this empty person, that he brings nothing of any value to any relationship, any situation. And he just feels like everybody who he attempts to get close to will eventually leave him. When that sweet stranger told me that this was a sad book, she was not lying to me. But there was something that I wanted to read. Can't find it, screw it. If there's one thing that I've noticed that Murakami's like brilliant at is capturing human emotions and how deeply we are as feeling beings. These things come across very simply, yet they're really deep concepts, and I'm just super impressed by that. Now, there was one huge element to this book that I hate. Because this man is a loner, for some reason he has weird sexual fantasies. I really didn't see that coming. This book is sad, but it has a lightheartedness to it, and then that crap's just thrown in there. So it's very unfortunate that, you know, Big T is having some weird thoughts in his head, and it's even more unfortunate that he has to tell me about him. I don't need to know. Keep that in your head. Nobody needs to know that. I don't need to know that. Nobody needs to know that. Big T. I haven't read any since last night. What I wanted to give you an update on is I started a second book. Because there were so many good recommendations, I kind of wanted to try out one of the nonfiction reads. And the one that I settled on was Good Morning Monster. Huh? Nah. You're a reader, I can tell. You got some good books, I can see it.
I don't know what my favorite book is though.
It's a really hard question because that could change every day.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I can say one book that I recently read.
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay. I recently read a book called Good Morning Monster.
Ooh.
And it's like about a clinical psychologist, and she talks about like 5 different stories and like the heroic journeys that they all go through. And they're all very traumatizing stories.
Okay.
But really, 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 really good.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I knew you had a good rec. It sounded fascinating, so I snagged an audiobook. That's how I'm going to read this book for this video. I'm not going to be getting a physical copy. I am 21% done. Driving back and forth between for work today, I listened to almost 3 hours of this thing, and it's already so good. So good. This is a nonfiction read that reads like fiction. She tells it in kind of this first-person suspended... The book is broken up into 5 sections, telling 5 different stories of the psychologist's experience with certain patients. And the first story that she told was of a woman named Laura, and just how she came in to figure out how to not stress and not be anxious, but how that, of course, delved into deeper issues. And I really enjoyed the story. At the end of it, I kind of found myself just loving Laura. I really loved this person that I didn't even know. I have 4 more to go. I'm on the second one right now as we speak. His name is Peter. I am also going to hopefully finish this today. 2 extremely deep books at the same time. I think on top of these 2 and with my schedule, I can probably squeeze in 1 more book, and I think I already know what book I want to read from all of the recommendations that I got from that video. Probably gonna go to the store later today, but I need to do some quick editing and SEO stuff for a video going up today. So I'm gonna hop back into this audiobook, and I'll catch back up with you later. Sorry about that. Ashlyn and I are about to run to the store. There's a book that she wants to grab, and there's, I need to pick up the last and final book. We're gonna go run and do that real quick. Yeah. It is the next morning. Anyway, picked up the last and final book for this video, which is Fahrenheit 451. I was convinced by that wonderful gentleman that I had the privilege to talk to on the street. He convinced me to read this book. This is the book that's been on my radar for a while. I do like dystopian novels. You know, I've enjoyed books like George Orwell's 1984, An Animal Farm, Brave New World, that sort of stuff. So I think Fahrenheit 451 it's certainly up my alley. And it wasn't just him that I encountered that convinced me. It was also everybody in the comments that was saying yes. It was either between this or Jurassic Park. But I felt that Jurassic Park was just a little too long for the time frame that I have for this video. But before I get to that, I'm still not done with the other 2 books. I didn't want to rush through anything. That just doesn't make reading enjoyable. I'm about 56% of the way through Good Morning Monster. I will probably finish this at work. Maybe. Actually, I don't know. I've listened to 3 out of the 5 stories, and wow, heavy dude. Heavy. But she writes it in such a way that I don't feel like I'm reading about real people. But then I take a step back from that and understand that this is a real person. This person existed. These therapy sessions between this person and this therapist existed. Life stories that are tragic. Oh my gosh. The one that I just finished, Danny, last night. Bro. He was an Inuit Cree Indian in the bush of northern Canada. I forget which territory. Which territory has Winnipeg in it? Let me know in the comments. Dude, his life, taken from his family when he was a kid, him and his sister, to be put into reformatory schools. Essentially, like, government came in, took kids away from their parents to try to get the native out of them, if that makes sense. And the crap that happened to him as a boy at this school. Abuse, loss, tragic, dude. It just seems like everything in his life, because of that situation, it destroyed not only who he was for a while, it destroyed his family, and it destroyed his people's way of life. You know, I'm not a fan of big government, but I definitely was not a fan of big government after that story. Dude, these are heartbreaking stories, and what I've noticed through all of them, the underlying theme of parents. Parents really do shape a person. In your formative developing years, parents are crucial. Man, they make a difference. Good parents make a difference. Bad parents make a difference. Some people don't need to be parents at all, and that makes all the difference. Oh man, Good Morning Monster. Good idea to read this book. I'm very happy that I did. Colorless tsukuru tazaki, bro, and his years of pilgrimage. I really don't know how far that is. I mean, I'm on chapter 15 on page 224, and this book has 20 chapters and it ends on 314. So I have 90 pages left. I think that's somewhere around 70%. He's confronting his past, literally. He's not just delving into his subconscious and trying to like figure out what he did or what he didn't do to make people leave him in his life. He's actually confronting the people from his past. And the revelation why they ghosted him, why they shut him out of the group and their lives was shocking. I did not expect that. I'm not going to reveal it to you because those of you who are curious, you should just read the book. But there's a subplot that's going on that I'm more interested in right now. There's a woman named Sarah that he's been seeing for, they've gone on like 6-7 dates or whatever. He's convinced that she's, they're not technically an item. They haven't expressed that they're dating each other, but come on, like if you've seen each other that often, I would say that your relationship is more than just casual. He's a little heartbroken because she might be seeing some dudes on the side. I feel like it's just going to be a miscommunication, but I'm more interested. I want him to confront her now. Screw these people. Confront Sarah. Let's go have a good day, and I'm going to try to get back as fast as I can so I can get to reading. I can't keep going without updating you. Oh my gosh, I'm listening to the 4th story in Good Morning Monster. Alana, this is the worst one of them all. This is the worst one yet. In terms of how tragic it is, oh my gosh, there are parents that do this to children. I know the human heart is wicked above all things. I know it's desperately sick, but sometimes being reminded of that, dude, how could you do that to a child? People like that need to be put down, and I'd love to put them down myself. This book, trigger warnings from beginning to end. If you cannot handle unsavory truths about abuse of any kind, if you can't handle it, this is not a book for you. When that woman told me that this book was a bunch of sad stories, I didn't know that these were dark and twisted. Oh no, this is a shorter story. No, I want this to be longer. I don't know how to feel right now. Why hello, it's been some time. I'm done. I'm done with Colorless tsukuru tazaki and his years of pilgrimage, and I'm also done with Good Morning Monster. I feel emotionally exhausted. Reading heavy material like that simultaneously, it does something to your soul. I guess let's start with Murikami. Big T, tazaki. This book was fine. That's the good word for it. Fine. It was fine. It was fine. I went into it expecting, I don't really think I had any expectations. It was good in its own right, and I think it's a great introduction to Murakami as an author, who I definitely will be dipping my toes into. If you have any good Murakami recommendations, drop them in the comments. I'd love to check them out. But anyway, he confronts his past. He gets the answers he was seeking for. This book ends on a cliffhanger. And the woman that I talked to, she told me it was going to be that way. She told me that it's open-ended and that it's up to the reader to interpret whether or not we think the outcome resolved itself in a certain way. It's so open-ended, I still don't really know how to feel. I don't have closure in some regards because it ended. It just ended. Like abruptly. I've never read a book that I feel like I ended my short stories in English class that way. And the fact that a New York Times bestselling author, internationally beloved, got away with it, gives me hope. But at the same time, it infuriated the freaking shat out of me. Holy crap. I wanted answers to certain things, and I didn't get any of them. None, Murikami. Overall, I'd give this about a 3.5. Like I said, it was a great introduction to who this author is. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. Next book was Good Morning Monster, and holy cow. I still don't know how to feel about any of those stories. They were all so unique and so tragic. My heart went out to these folks. I felt compassion and empathy and sympathy for these people, and to be taken on a journey of their growth and their healing through the mind of their therapist. Excellent. Like, wow. And it reads like fiction. She's incredibly talented at telling a story and recounting things in certain ways that show so much respect and love for these people. But she's talking about very real and raw and evil things at times. Left me a little bit hollow, but also gave me a little bit of hope in return. I don't normally rate nonfiction books, and so I'm not going to rate this. But if I had to, I'd give it a 4.5. It was that good. I do recommend reading this to anyone who's interested. I think we have one more to tackle, and that, my dear friends and family and intimate reading associates, is Fahrenheit 451. Yes!
This is awesome.
Why, thank you.
All right. Convince me to read your favorite book. Let me think. Okay. This is a classic.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be too hard. But my favorite book currently is Fahrenheit 451.
Oh, wait, okay.
You've probably heard it.
Yep.
Have you read it before?
I have not.
So I think it's one of the best dystopian books ever written because it's so real.
Yeah.
In this day and age, people are burning books all the time. And that's kind of the main premise of the book.
Yeah.
It's almost like the author had like psychic vision. There's a lot of things in there that are so like real to now. There's one of the like scariest things in the book is a robotic dog that will chase you. It's kind of like a cop dog that will like chase you and then inject you with something and like put you to sleep.
What?
It's really, really scary. And the book doesn't really have a good ending. Like it's almost like the bad guys win.
Really?
So I know. So,
Boo.
so I totally think you should read it.
Wow.
It'll really change your mind about like dystopian books if you don't like them.
Okay.
That's how I kind of got into the whole dystopian thing.
I love that. Best
you.
conversation all day.
This
Thank
is
you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Continue doing what you're doing.
Heard a lot about this book. Ray Bradbury has been on the radar for quite some time. And so when that delightful stranger told me that I should read Fahrenheit 451, I thought, oh, excellent excuse. Might as well just jump in, right? Hola. It's Ashlyn! Hi! We're making burgers. We'll go to burgers cooking. I thought I'd take the time to just update you guys on Fahrenheit 451. Dystopian novels. One of the best of all time. I can already see that. We follow a man named Montauk, who is a firefighter. As a firefighter in this world, in this version of the United States, you burn books. And you burn a lot of them. It seems every night he's getting a call. Get the alarm bells, they go to this person's house. They not only burn the books, but they burn the house down. And it's all because the government does not want people reading books. There's a neighbor that moves in next door next to Montauk and his wife. The 17-year-old girl named Clarice and her family. And Clarice helps open Montauk's eyes. Is it Montag? I say Montauk, but I'm pretty sure it's Montag. But anyway, Clarice opens his eyes. She asks him, have you ever read any of the books you've supposedly burned? He gets his thorn in his side about it, and he starts getting very curious. And so he's actually warned, don't do it. Don't do it out of curiosity. Just live your life. Don't let curiosity get the best of you. You know, I know dystopian novels aren't everybody's forte. Sometimes they're viewed as propaganda. Oh no, the government would never do such a thing. Oh, a country would never do that to its citizens. I've always thoroughly enjoyed dystopian novels because it kind of paints a picture of where things could go if left unchecked. And tyranny comes in all shapes and sizes. It's hard to recognize sometimes, but books like this shed light on ways that it could possibly be done, and I really enjoy it. So we're gonna eat some food. It's gonna be good. We're gonna finish this book tonight. I was supposed to finish it yesterday, but I am lazy. We did it. We finished Fahrenheit 451. What a stellar novel this is. I loved the writing. Love this man's prose. I am itching to get back into more Ray Bradbury already. The story was great. I mean, what a cool concept to write about, and what a cool direction to take a plot and to take a character who has this conflict within himself of learning that maybe the things that he's been told he needs to accept and needs to conform to and needs to obey aren't actually right. And the steps and the actions that he takes, I mean, he jumps head first off of the cliff, and the ramifications and the consequences are dire. Wow, this was really a great look into what tyranny can take the form of, because as a reader, of course, I love books, and I've been set free by books. I've been liberated from mental chains and bondage because of some books that I've read that have changed my life. And I can't imagine a world where a government would not only just like ban a few certain books, but make pretty much reading illegal, and the owning of books, punishment by not only the confiscation of the books, but the burning of your property and you being thrown in jail without trial, without hesitation, without any regard whether you meant well or not. It just, I mean, that's so compelling. What a cool idea for a book. Best book I read for the challenge so far. This was, I've been kind of noodling on it. It's definitely a 4.5. What an excellent book with an excellent message. Thank you everybody so much for watching this video. I know it was a long time coming. And thank you again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Head to nordvpn.com/IanGubeli for 4 extra months free. Again, that is for the 2-year plan. I repeat, for the 2-year plan only. Do not miss this exclusive deal. Anyway, folks, signing out of here. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.